Villa was born on August 5, 1908 in Manila, Singalong District. His parents were Simeon Vella, a personal possession of Emilio Aguinaldo, and Gia Garcia, a wealthy landowner. He graduated from the University of the Philippines Integrated School and the University of the Philippines High School in 1925. Villa enrolled on a pre-medical course in the University of the Philippines but then switched to pre-law course. However, he realized that his true passion was in the arts. Villa first tried painting but then turned into creative writing after reading Weinsberg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. In 1946, Villa married Rosemary Lamb, with whom he had two sons, Randall and Lance. They annulled their marriage 10 years later. He also had three grandchildren, Jordan Villa, Sarah Villa, Stokes, and Travis Villa. Villa was especially close to his nieces, Ruby Porcelia, Milagros Villanueva, Maria Luisa Cohen, and Maria Villanueva. Villa was granted an Eugene Him Fellowship in Creative Writing by American writer Conrad Aiken, wherein he was also awarded a $1,000 prize for outstanding work in American literature, as well as fellowship from Boligen Foundation. He was also bestowed an Academy Award for Literature from the American Academy of Arts and Letters in 1943. Villa also won first prize in the poetry category of UP Golden Jubilee Literary Contest in 1958, as well as the Pro Patria Award for Literature in 1961, and the Heritage Award for Poetry and Short Stories a year later. He was conferred with a honoris causa doctorate degree for literature by Farm Eastern University in Manila in 1959, and later by University of the Philippines, and the National Artist Award for Literature in 1973. He was one of the three Filipinos, along with the novelist Jose Rizal and translator Nick Joaquin, included in world poetry. An anthology of verse from antiquity to our time published in 2000, which featured over 1,600 poems written by hundreds of poets in different language and culture with a span of 40 centuries dating from the development of early writing in ancient Sumer and Egypt. He was nominated for the 1971 Nobel Prize in Literature by Pasita Habana and other professors from Eastern University, and Alejandro Roses, chair of the UNESCO National Commission of the Philippines. Contribution in the Philippine literature. Aside from publishing various collections of poetry, Villa also added to the world of poetic style, introducing a new rhyme scheme called reverse consonants. As Villa explained, the last sounded consonants of the last syllable or the last principal consonant of a word are reversed for the corresponding rhyme. Footnote to Youth is a story by Jose Garcia Villa that was published in 1933. The year the story was published plays an important role in understanding the story and what it means. The situation in the Philippines back in 1930s is very different from today.
The sun was sullen and hazy in the west. Dodon was thinking of telling his father about his plan on marrying Taeyang when he got home. He unhitched the carabao from the plow to its shed and fed it. He was hesitant, but he wanted his father to know. Dodon finally decided to tell him, although his father might refuse.
I will tell him. I will tell him.
Dodon wanted to marry. However, he was only 17. He had pimples on his face, and down on his upper lip was already dark. He was growing into a man. No, he was already a man. Dodon stumbled upon a creek on his way home. As he was walking, he thought of Taeyang, his girl. He had a small brown face, a small black eyes, and a glossy hair. She was a dream girl to him. It was dusk when he reached home. His family had already set the table. They all sat on the ground and ate fish and rice. Dodong was still thinking about how he would tell his father. Dodong's mother went out to wash the dishes, while his father remained in the room. Sucking a deceased tooth, Dodong knew he had to tell him.
I am going to marry Taeyang.
His father looked at him silently and stopped sucking the broken tooth. The silence became more intense and cruel, and Dodong wished his father would just suck the troublesome tooth again. His father was just looking at him without saying anything.
I will marry Taeyang. I will marry Taeyang.
His father just kept gazing at him silently, and Dodong fidgeted on his seat.
I asked her last night to marry me, and she said, yes. I want your permission. I want it.
You are very young, Dodong.
I'm 17.
That's very young to get married at.
I want to marry. Thanks, good girl.
Tell your mother, Dodong.
You will let me marry Taeyang.
Son, if that's your wish, of course.
Dodong stood in the sweltering noon heat, sweating profusely. He was still as a tree, and his thoughts were confused. Taeyang was giving birth on their first child. Dodong was hearing Taeyang's scream that chilled his blood. He did not want her to scream like that. He figured that in a few moments he would be a father.
Father, father, I would be a father.
He was young, he realized now.
Come up, Dodong. It is over.
Dodong suddenly felt embarrassed as he looked at her. He dropped his eyes and pretended to dust dirt off his shorts.
Dodong. Dodong.
Dodong, it's a boy.
Dodong felt more embarrassed and did not move. His parents' eyes seemed to pierce through him, and he felt limp. He wanted to hide, and he wanted to run away.
Dodong, you come up. You come up.
Dodong did not want to come up and stayed in the sun.
Dodong. Dodong.
I'll come up.
Taeyang was sound asleep on the papag with her black hair around her face. Dodong wanted to touch her, but he felt that feeling of embarrassment once again. He heard a thin voice, and it pierced him queerly. He was happy.
Give him to me. You give him to me.
Blas was not Dodong's only child. Many more children came. For 6 years, a new child came along. Dodong did not want any more children, but they came. It seems like it could not be helped. Dodong got angry with himself sometimes. Taeyang did not complain, but the bearing of the child told on her. She was shapeless and thin, now, even if she was young. There was so much work to be done: cooking, laundering, the house, the children. She cried sometimes. wishing she had not married. Although she did not tell Dodong this, not wishing him to dislike her. One night, as Dodong lay beside his wife, he rose and went out of the house. He stood in the moonlight, tired and querulously. He was wondering why life did not fulfill all the youth dreams, why it was forsaken after love. Dodong would not find the answer. Maybe the question was not to be answered. It must be so to make youth. Youth, a youth, must be dreamfully sweet. Dodong returned to the house, humiliated by himself.
When Blas was 18, he came home one night, very flustered and happy. It was late at night, and Dodong heard Blas' steps.
Blas, you better go to sleep. It's late.
Tay,
Yes, anak?
I'm going to marry Tona. She accepted me tonight. I love Tona, and I want her.
You want to marry Tona? Have you already made up your mind?
I will marry Tona! You have any objections, Itay?
Son? None.
Deep inside, Dodong didn't want Blas to marry at such a young age. However, he was helpless. He couldn't do anything. Youth must be triumphed now. Love must be triumphed now. Afterward, it will be life. As long ago, youth and love did triumph for Dodong. And then life. Dodong looked wistfully at his son in the moonlight. He felt extremely sad and sorry for him.